I think that some of us forget if you step in some shit, you better change your shoes. You know, some of you guys, you've been walking through a barn every day of your life and you still got the same boots on. Am I talking about boots or shoes? Really, what I'm talking about is habits. It's your routine. It's whatever you involve yourself in majority of the time, consistently over time. That's why you got shit all over your shoes, aka you're overweight. You're a little more chubby than you want to be. You can see your abs when you kind of flex in the right lighting. You have low energy every morning. You wake up, you gotta down a bunch of coffee just to feel energized. And it's not even that real energy. You're just still like exhausted. You're just like vibrating now. Crashing at the end of the day. You have a low view of yourself. And people feel what you feel. If you have a low opinion of yourself, that's going to show right through. And other people can't help but agree with you. They're not doing it deliberately. It's just the subcommunication. It's going on a subconscious level. I don't know if you guys ever thought about this, but you can only gaslight yourself into confidence for so long. You can only look in the mirror in the morning so many times, say your affirmations, or whatever your fucking horoscope says. I'm just kidding. You're probably not looking at horoscopes. But this is serious. You guys stepped in shit a long time ago, and you still haven't changed your shoes. And it fucking reeks. You can smell it. Everybody else can smell it. And it's fucking up your life. Sorry, there's this crackhead doing some tweaker shit over here. The first thoughts you have every day set the tone for your day, whether you like it or not. So what do I mean? You wake up, you're not excited to get out of bed. That could come down to you not living a purposeful life, not having the spouse or the relationship that you want, not having good things going for you. But first things first, like on a physical level, how do you look? How do you feel? Do you wake up feeling like shit every morning? Do you have to drag yourself out of bed? Do you have to set 10 alarms because you need another precious 10 minutes? I don't know why I gave air quotes for that. You look in the mirror. Are you psyched about what you're seeing? Or are you cringing a little bit? Does it hurt a little bit? Does it stab you in the soul? What are you thinking in the shower? I remember what this was like because it just engulfs your life. wake up feeling like crap, as I said earlier, you need a bunch of coffee to amp yourself up, but it's not really the same as what you want. You feeling like shit, seeing that you look like shit in the mirror, makes you feel bad about yourself. Puts your attitude, in a bad state to start the day. You carry that to work with you. You're emanating these like bad vibes, so to speak. Your siblings feel it if you're younger. Maybe your girl feels it if you're older. Your kids, if you got those. You get to work, your coworkers are like, oh, how are you doing today? They can already tell. People can see it in your eyes. You can fake it a little bit, but people can see in your eyes if you're tired, if you're happy. There's this quote in personal development that is so true. It has so many different ways you could think about it, but the self is always showing through. You can't fake some of this stuff. You can't fake how you feel. You can't fake a story about yourself. Not for long, anyway. Not unless you're making, you're taking the positive steps in the direction of where you're trying to get to. But a lot of us don't back up what we're talking about. We're posting about the gym on our story, showing everybody that we got sourdough bread at the grocery store, flexing your Smoothie King. It's got protein powder in it. You got some blueberries. That's probably the biggest culprit, is blueberries. But even if they don't know, you making poor food decisions most of the time, that's obviously holding you back. It's holding back your spirit too. That sort of halts your momentum. You can't make any forward progress in the other areas, like the workouts and the sleep and recovery. And it keeps people stuck. I really hate this quote, how you do one thing is how you do everything. I would say the real quote, what that really means is if you do one thing, it's going to be easy to do the next thing. This domino effect. If you're locked in on your workouts, you're not going to want to fuck up on your diet. And if you're locked in on your diet and your workouts, you bet your ass you're going to get in bed on time so that you can actually recover and make the gains that you put all the effort into the diet and the workouts for. And you going to sleep on time helps you come back to the gym extra strong this week. You going to sleep on time helps you, shuttle those nutrients to where they need to go in the body. You going to sleep on time and getting a good amount of sleep makes the time that you're awake 10 times better. That way, you fucking jump out of bed. You go to work, you're just in a good mood. Now you're contagious. Now you're like a magnetic person. Stuff's just working out for you. People are throwing you bones. People are like, oh, big guy's got some fucking energy here today. Why are you in such a good mood? Now you're inspiring. Now you got people interested in you. They want to know what the deal is, right? You're at the gym, you're hitting fucking PRs every week. People start to notice. Maybe not week to week, but after a while, of you, if you're consistently doing deadlifts and squats every week, which are the two most anabolic exercises you can do, two of the best exercises for your health, period. You should do them back to back every leg day if you're doing, a 3-day-a-week split. if people see you doing squats and deadlifts consistently over time, they're going to see that the numbers are going up. You know, if you're trying to add weight or a rep to each individual set every workout, it's only a matter of time until you're like 10 or 20 pounds stronger on those exercises. And you don't have to be in a surplus to gain strength. You can actually be in a deficit and build strength. But the key here is, you know, and this sort of leads back to my other point that I made earlier. If you're not taking the necessary steps to build that positive momentum in the direction of whatever your goal might be, it's okay if you miss that week to week. The problem is you won't be able to compound on it next week. So like I'll talk about workouts, but this goes for diet and sleep and all the other stuff too. But every single workout, think about this, you have a certain amount of potential to harvest or grasp and take advantage of. And like every single set that you do, you can hit a PR, right? So if you don't push yourself to hit that PR, you know, you're not tracking your workouts and you don't look back to last week and see what you did and try to like add weight or a rep, like it's all good, especially if you match it. Like if you just match what you did last week, that's cool. But the problem is, you know, even though next week you'll have another opportunity to, salvage or harvest that PR and that potential gain, the problem is that you won't be able to stack on top of that. Like this is all a compounding game. You changing your routine, it's not an overnight thing. It doesn't happen like that. It can happen very rapidly with the appropriate steps, but most of the time it's just this week I did this, and then next week I did a little more, and then next week I did a little more, and then next week I did a little more. And like you start over here in the fucking shit show, the shit show side of the equation, and then over time you're moving in this direction. Right? You're moving over here towards being an absolute G, a Chad, a beast, fucking David Goggins type shit, right? And nobody needs to get all the way over here. But still, you want to be as far away from over here as you can. You might veer over here at some point throughout the year, depending on you know what it is that you're doing, what the occasion is or whatever. But you want to be over here as often as you can. And it's like a gradual process. So, what do? How do you fucking get the shit off your shoes and start stacking these wins? My advice would be to do something fucking radical. You know, part of the reason I said you got shit on your shoes is because you guys are just doing what you've always done, thinking it's going to give you something any different than what you've already got. Your bullshit workout that you're not even consistent with, it hasn't worked in the past, so why is it going to work now? You're just going to fall out of it again. If you could have done it, you would have already did it. So you got to change shit up. You got to change your workout. You got to change your diet. You know, you got to change how you treat sleep. So I've got some action steps regarding those things, but I think there's a bunch of other stuff that you could do too that doesn't include the gym or your diet or recovery. And it's some stuff that I've done recently because I'm trying to start taking massive action towards my goals. Everybody should. So this is something that you can do with me. But I mean, just basics real quick. If you're not training 3 days a week weightlifting, you got to start. Just work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Usually I do chest and arms on Monday, legs and abs on Wednesday, back and shoulders on Friday. Do like 5 exercises per day, 2 to 3 sets each. Stick in the 5 to 10 rep range. Use stuff like reverse pyramid training. Rest at least 3 minutes in between sets. You know, train your body in a way to where you're targeting the areas that you want to build up to get more aesthetic, right? So your upper chest, your shoulders, your back, so you got that V taper, but still having functional and proportional legs, so that you don't look top heavy or like you got fucking Q-tip legs or whatever, toothpick legs. Anyway, the diet, animal-based diet is going to be the king. Meat, eggs, fruit, seafood, dairy, high quality dairy, so like raw 100% grass-fed organic dairy, bee products like honey, bee pollen, royal jelly, some tubers like onions and I hate onions, but like sweet potatoes, raw carrots. And that should be like 80 to 90% of the time. The other 10%, have the birthday cake at the birthday party, but you don't need to be crushing a whole sleeve of Oreos when you're at home alone, 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. So me, I do that, I do the milk and cookie method every day, but the cookies I'm buying are either grain-free from Siete, or they're like A2 butter cookies made with like organic spelt flour and all these other like natural ingredients from this farm that I get raw milk from, right? So that's the type of junk food that I'm eating. It's not even really junk food. It's like good holistic ingredients. Raw milk is good with any cookie. I have ice cream every night. It's either raw ice cream from that farm with the same milk, maple syrup, egg yolks, vanilla extract, or it's Haagen-Dazs, which just has super clean ingredients. So that's like around the edges. And then if I'm out with friends and family, like that's more of an occasion thing, and I'll just eat whatever I want because I know my physique's not going to flinch. Maybe I'll feel like crap in the short term, but I'm just going to be back on my game once I return home the next day, right? Sleep. Last thing. Intermittent fasting really helped me structure my day better in terms of food. So like if I eat first thing in the morning, I'm going to get hungry an hour later. And after I eat again, I'm going to get hungry later. And then before I go to bed, say I'm trying to hit a certain amount of calories daily, I'm going to run out of calories by like 5 or 6 p.m. If I don't go to bed till like at least 10 or 11, how am I supposed to go to sleep on an empty stomach when I'm feeling hungry? It's not going to happen. I'm going to go back to the kitchen and overeat. Just like stay stuck in spinning my wheels in place. So when I started doing intermittent fasting, wake up, just have coffee, stay productive, do what you got to do at work and whatnot. Maybe I have lunch, maybe I don't. Come home, have 2 bigger, aka more satisfying meals. Pig out. Less meals means I can just create the meal with whatever macros that I need. You can be a little bit more precise with the amount that you're eating. You get a real healthy meal. By healthy, I mean like big meal. So you're basically in that food coma, and then you're just chilling out. The end of the day, you roll into bed. Pick a bedtime. There's a lot of talk about waking up at 4 a.m. and all this shit. That's great. The big tip is picking a bedtime. If you pick a bedtime, such as like 10 p.m., let's say, you're going to wake up at like 6 or 7 maybe, right? And you might not even need an alarm. Think about what that would do for you if you didn't need an alarm. And honestly, have one set just in case. Don't miss work or anything. But if you woke up without an alarm, how would that start your day? What's better? Waking up to the sound of that fucking alarm screaming in your ear, super stressed. You're like, Joel, you're like, oh, fuck. Or you just your eyes open up, you sort of look around, like, oh, I got to go to the bathroom, roll out of bed, go to the bathroom, chug a bunch of water. No noise, no jolt, no stress, right? Like cortisol is already high in the morning. That's kind of what wakes you up, is a cortisol response. When you hear that alarm in your ear, especially if it's the worst sound in the world, which is most people pick so that they actually wake up, that's just going to put you on edge, even more so. That's why you feel like shit a lot of the time. It's because of the alarm. So One thing that you guys got to stop doing, which I am the biggest, or was the biggest culprit of, is stop staying up so late. A lot of you guys, and myself included in the past, I would just stay up scrolling on my phone. I would, be doing random shit at night and just banking on, hey, I'll wake up when I need to. Sleep is for the weak. Hustle hard. I'm that guy. I can handle no sleep. No, you can't. You really can't. You can't afford to fuck with your sleep. I had a mentor who is telling people to sleep less to achieve their goals. That's the worst advice ever. Right? Like, there's so many other things that you could do to increase productivity. You are far less productive on low sleep. You know what else? You are going to be far less happy and satisfied in life on low sleep. You're also going to lose less weight. You're going to have higher estrogen and cortisol, meaning that you have more water retention in your face as well as your body. You have more body fat in general. You're not going to be able to put on muscle mass. You're not going to be able to build strength. You're going to get hungrier more. Like, ghrelin is going to spike 10 times harder because you are sleep deprived. And, if you're trying to lose body fat, you're in a deficit, meaning your body is eating itself to stay alive, which is a super stressful process on your body. Not sleeping is just shooting yourself in the foot. There's this thing that people say is like, if you find yourself staying up super late, it's because you don't feel in control of your life. And that's the only time that you feel like you're in control, is at night. That's something to think about. Are you staying up super late at night for no reason, just to make yourself feel like you're in control of something? I've been there. I'll admit it. But that's something that you got to do away with real quick. So those first three, just work out 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, build strength in the gym, track your workouts, animal-based diet, right? Meat, eggs, fruit, dairy, seafood, beet products, tubers, intermittent fasting maybe, high quality mineral water instead of tap water, no processed foods, pick that 80-20 or 90-10 rule and just create it in a way to where it's sustainable. And then pick a bedtime, take a hot shower an hour before bed so your internal body temperature goes down. You can fall asleep better. Have magnesium before bed so you knock out like a light. You don't need melatonin. You're probably magnesium deficient. If you have more magnesium, you're going to be less stressed too, which is just going to make strength gain and just feeling better during the day 10 times easier too. And yeah, there's a couple of other things that I think will kick your fucking ass into gear. And these might seem a little bit weird, but just stick with me. So if you feel like you're just going through the motions, you're not really happy with your life, you have a cluttered headspace, super stressed, just not having a good time at all, I would highly encourage you to think about whether or not your room is clean. Yes, you heard that right. Is your room clean? Is your bed made? And if your room is clean and your bed is made, what shit is in your room that you don't need? One of the first things that I'm going to challenge you and invite you to do is throw out everything that you don't need. Get all that fucking clutter off your desk. Get rid of all those clothes that you don't wear. I don't know if some of you guys are dealing with decision fatigue in the morning, like trying to think about what to wear. You only wear like 5 or 10 things tops. The rest of the shit in your closet that you're saving for like this specific occasion, you're never gonna use it. You're like rummaging through all that shit and it's burning up your mental capital in the morning that you could likely use on stuff that you need to get done at work or whatever you're doing that day, right? Like whatever you do. So don't throw your clothes out, donate them somewhere. Give them away to a family member, hand them down or something. Give them to the homeless, find a charity or something. Get rid of all your clothes. Throw out the rest of the shit in your room that you don't need. And here's the last one. If you don't feel like you have to do any of the things that I just mentioned, rearrange your room. I'm serious. Rearrange your room. Part of the reason that you want to clean your room is just to get your mental clarity back. All that clutter is increasing your anxiety, and you need to shake things up too. I don't know if you guys have ever seen, I heard somebody talking about this. If you guys have ever seen that movie Limitless with Bradley Cooper, after he takes the pill for the first time, what was the first thing that he did? He went home and he cleaned his whole apartment. That was the first thing that he did, so he could think straight and see where everything was. So that's what you need to do. I also saw this video of this writer. I think he was a writer, some sort of a creator. He said that he would take a shower like 8 or 9 times a day just to refresh his headspace. Like if he had writer's block, he would literally just take a shower. So I'm not telling you to take a shower 8 or 9 times a day. But I'm telling you right now, if you need to get your fucking ass in gear and shake things up and change stuff, you should just rearrange your room. Like get rid of all your clothes, get rid of all that shit, rearrange your room. And like this might seem like a gimmick, it fucking works. So if anything, just try it once. What's the worst thing that could happen? You got to put your fucking room back together. But at the end of the day, you donated some clothes and you got rid of all the shit that you don't need, and now you can think straight. One other thing. I'm challenging you to write down 10 action steps or short-term goals that you want to get done immediately, like starting today. Now, these are not, honestly, these aren't even really goals. And this could also be like ways that you're going to live your life from here forward, like how you'll interact with people, how you'll live your life, how you'll start your day, how you'll end your day, all this other shit. There's a big ass truck going by right now. Anyway, back to what I was saying. These are not goals. This is a declaration to yourself. If you skip this exercise, you're really fucking yourself up. So write like 1 through 10 on a piece of paper, and you're just going to go down the line and say, I will, or better yet, like write it in the present tense. Like, this is what I do in this case. Or I am a great communicator. I respond to people immediately. I go to the gym Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I don't buy X food. Part of the problem that you guys have with diet is you keep buying bad shit. You're like, oh, I have an issue with eating da-da-da-da-da. Stop buying it. It doesn't just end up in your cabinet. You don't just end up with it in your stomach. You go to the store, you frequent a place where somebody could offer it to you. If you have a problem eating pizza, stop hanging out with your friends that eat pizza all the time. It's only a matter of time until you break. So sometimes it's literally just a logistic issue. But back to this list of action steps. Write down 1 through 10. I will do this, or I do this. I am a I am X, whatever it might be. Again, these are not goals. These are not like would be nice to do's. These aren't like nice to haves. This is a declaration to yourself. And be realistic. Like, yeah, I'm all about setting high standards for yourself. But again, it's not like a night and day thing. This exercise is like a way to just take radical, massive action towards your goals. So it might be a little bit different. But that doesn't mean that you have to shoot for the stars if if you feel like you're way off from attaining whatever routine or whatever characteristic of your day that you're talking about. Like, be realistic. Choose stuff that you can see yourself doing 10 years from now. Don't just start keto just to start keto. Don't start carnivore just to start carnivore. Are you going to do that the rest of your life? If not, then why the fuck are you going to do it? You could say for like a mental challenge or like, just to see what it would be like. But this is about changing your life for the better. This is, again, I'll say it again. This is a declaration to yourself about how you want to live your life from here forward, starting immediately. Starting immediately, like today. So this isn't start tomorrow. It's not start next week. It's not start on Monday. I'm shooting this on a Thursday right now. It's not start on Monday. It's start today. There's stuff on there that you can do today. And the more that you start taking massive action towards this list, every time you do it, you're going to get a little fucking dopamine hit. You're going to get a little boost in self-esteem. Let's call it that, just for example's sake. Every time that you do something, you're going to feel fucking pumped about it. You know what that does? Makes it easier to do it the next time or do the next thing. Start stacking these wins. And if anything, you just got to shake up what you're doing right now. You got shit on your shoes. You got to change your fucking shoes. Told myself that I wouldn't curse so much, trying to turn a new leaf. But yeah, guys, do that fucking do that exercise. 1 through 10. How are you going to live your life from here forward? How do you want to be living 10 years down the road? How do you want to be remembered? What type of person do you want to be? What attributes, what characteristics do you admire in others that you want to embody yourself? And just start going for it. If you mess up, don't get bent out of shape over it. It's just one time. Not like you can't ever try again. Just get back on the horse. Just resume momentum, resume consistency. Don't try to stretch yourself any further to make up or like compensate. Just like get back on track. Do it again. And just little by little, you're just going to build a brand new routine. And you won't have shit on your shoes. You won't feel like somebody that you don't want to be. You won't feel like a victim of your circumstances. You'll be in control. So I hope this helps. And if you want to chat about potentially working with me, this is just one element of what I do with people. If you've got specific goals that you want help with, you want my guidance, like you've looked at all my stuff, you followed me on Instagram at Garrett_Salem if you're not already. Man, if you're ready, I've got the blueprint. We can set up an agenda for you that makes the most sense. This is not it's not a program that's, you got to live your life just like this and eat just like that, set it up all just like that. I don't want you to do my program. I want you to do your program. And that's what I help my clients cultivate. And it's just about creating positive feedback loops in every area of your life and not doing anything that you can't see yourself doing outside of 6 months. You know, think about what you want to be doing in 10 years and just start doing that today. That's why I brought this exercise up. So clean your room, donate some clothes, rearrange your room, do that exercise, start going to the gym 3 times a week, stop buying bad shit, and let's start enjoying our lives. Peace.